This one stock could change early buyers' lives. This is not financial advice, but some analysts would agree that it's wise to buy as much as you can before November 10th. The company is Lemonade, LMND is the ticker. They're an insurance marketing company. I'm not sure they'd like to be called a marketing company, but they get a portion of premiums of people who sign up through their platform. And they run a lot of ads. Their revenue is up 40% year over year. Their earnings is still a loss, but it beat consensus estimates. Their profit margin is up to 40% now. This company is a unicorn, venture-backed company that is rounding the corner as a real publicly traded, could be the next Geico. Not financial advice, but let's jump into some info.
This is Sam Putnam.
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 So this is Lemonade. So this is their revenue, almost $200 million, up 40%. And they also grew customer base users 25% almost year over year. So this is pretty awesome. I don't know what a gross loss ratio is, but it sounds good for that to be low. They did raise guidance as well, okay, above previous consensus. So if we look at the earnings reaction, we can see all that. We can see the raised guidance. We can see the AMD. I was so excited about how AMD was bouncing on this earnings reaction. Look at this Lemonade sort of, very tall candle here. So this thing is straight up. And the earnings per share is, again, beat the estimate. So still a loss. Revenue's up and the guidance is up. And this is what happens when you have those three factors, a giant move. Now, it doesn't always happen that way, okay? And for that reason, I don't usually recommend you just, wait for earnings and then just pile in. Usually, what I think is a good idea is you wait for this candle to close. Because if you look at, and it's about to close, by the way, you can see I'm recording this video about 45 minutes before the close. If you look at some other stocks, look at Microsoft. This thing was expected to do awesome because they beat on earnings per share. They also had that clarification of their OpenAI ChatGPT equity of about 25% of ChatGPT they own. So they flipped, $1 billion. They're going to ultimately, it might be more like 10 to 15 billion that they're going to end up spending. But in turn, they're getting a stake in OpenAI worth over $100+ billion. So not bad, 10x, right? And despite all that seemingly good news that they got that equity stake done with corporate development, the stock is down. So, I'm not one to say I'm smarter than the market, which is everyone who has an idea that, maybe they hold Microsoft from down here, or, maybe they bought it down here, whatever. Maybe they bought it up here and they got a little spike and they were like, you know what? This is the spike I can finally unload my Microsoft into. And now it's down, even though the news is good, right? Sell the news. So all that to say, when Lemonade has these awesome earnings guidance, the earnings are better than expected anyway. Solid revenue growth. I like to say, you know what? Let's wait for this thing to close. I know looking at these intraday candles is all disorienting, but it just gives a little look at, there's the close, okay? 78. And we're getting there. I think it's going to close right about there unless something crazy happens. So that's a level that you can risk off of. And if you look at a 5-year chart, they're in the stratosphere, right? I mean, there is 2021 and all that, but pretty much ignore that until, it gets up to a major level like 115, because this was all crazy stimmy check time. So this is the setup. Awesome volume, high volume close about to happen, and we'll see what happens. There could be some profit taking tomorrow, but that's why you set a stop, or you know, if you don't want to buy it tomorrow, fine. If it gaps down tomorrow, let it be. See if it can close, you know, slightly above that high volume close the next day, and then buy it the next day. And just to say what that would look like, let's see if we can think of one like Tesla. You know what? You probably didn't want to buy Tesla here. Maybe you thought here, you know, I'll buy it here. And then what did it do? It gapped down. So fine, just don't touch it. You know, maybe you buy it here, maybe you don't. And then maybe you buy it up here, okay? And still risk this level. Maybe you get it down here. I don't know, but the point is, if there's an earnings candle with some volume on it, that tends to hold. And you can kind of look and see that that's kind of the case, right? I mean, it's not exact, but there's definitely something going on there psychologically, which means, you know, how people act, how people buy and sell is with their brains, right? That's all I mean by psychologically, nothing special. So anyway, that's enough charts for now. Lemonade, this is obviously the story, turnaround story. And yeah, I mean, this is hard. They're underwriting insurance policies for random people off the internet. So yeah, we'll see what happens. There is some risk, but it's definitely a massive industry, and they are AI powered. Okay, so everyone's throwing AI in front of their name, but in terms of coming up with an insurance rate for someone, there are literally the smartest people in the world working on these problems. I've met them. Oh my God. And the salaries are massive, similar to quant, similar to big tech, AI researchers. There's a lot of money in saying, oh, I'll use a different example so I don't get myself in trouble, or get them in trouble. They didn't tell me anything inside baseball, but, oh, you know, there's been hurricanes in this piece of Florida every single year. Maybe your hurricane insurance is going to be a little more expensive. You know, there's simple stuff like that. And then there's using models to sort of obfuscate a whole bunch of variables, not purposefully, but that's kind of what happens. And then come up with a rate that actually saves the company money, but also is low for folks that don't, you know, have high risk. So yeah, it's a real market. And them being a venture-backed startup definitely checks out as to actually using AI. So that's the idea. Lemonade, LMND. I'm not here to just sing their praises. That's one idea of many. If you like this video, hit that like button. If you want a free course on how to buy stocks before they go up, hit that subscribe. I put that in the post section. I did put out a post today as well. YouTube is cracking down on AI channels and channels that it's AI. It uses AI as well to label channels as dangerous. So we did get a warning. So check out that link in the first part of the description to join a free group, so you can get these videos even if YouTube removes this channel. It's on Skool, Skool. It's a community platform like YouTube. Check that out. And if you want one-on-one help, head over to stockscommunity.com and we can talk there as early as tomorrow morning in the Discord. I'll see you in the next one.
This is Sam Putnam. This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.